PP stands for the payment period, CP stands for the compounding period. Okay. In the cases like in nominal effective interest rate, right? Say like for example, your interest rate is given as 12% compounded say semi-annually. Okay, 12% compounded semi-annually. Your payment period is done on a yearly basis. Okay, this is the example that I given over here. Your compounding period is semi-annually, 12% compounded semi-annually. Your payment period is done on a yearly basis. Now take this as 1 year. So if you see here, what will be your interest rate per compounding period? What will be your interest rate per compounding period? Your R by M, right? What it will be? Interest rate per compounding period. Interest, it is given as 12% compounded semi-annually, right? It is semi-annually. Your payment period is actually on a yearly basis. So your compounding period here is actually semi-annual basis. Your payment period is on a annual basis. But if you see here, your payment period is actually greater than your compounding period. You need to make the payment period equal to the compounding period. The criteria in nominal effective interest rate is your payment period should be equal to the compounding period. Okay, in this case, your payment is done on an annual basis. Your compounding period is on a semi-annual basis. Now, you cannot bring the payment back. You cannot bring the payment to the semi-annual basis. Payment period is actually restricted. It is fixed. It cannot be changed. You cannot change it as per your wish, right? Because you have actually decided from the beginning that you're going to make the payment period as annual basis itself. So here, your compounding period is given as semi-annually. So your payment period is actually greater than your compounding period, but you need to make the payment period equal to the compounding period. Now, how do you do that? What is the basis for it actually? What is the formula that you're going to use for this? So you're going to use the I effective formula to make the payment period equal to the compounding period. Okay. Now, as I said, your R by M, your R by M stands for the nominal interest rate that is there. Okay. Now, 1 plus interest rate compounded semi-annually. So it is given as 0.12 is your interest rate. Now the compounding period is semi-annually. So what will be the value of M over here? How many times it is compounded in a year?
2 times.
It is compounded 2 times. So 1 plus 0.12 divided by 2. So that means your interest rate for 6 months will be 6%. Right? Interest rate applicable for every 6 months will be 6%. Right? So in a way it is told us your normal interest rate is 12% compounded semi-annually. Okay, but the interest rate is 6% every 6 months. Now, your payment period is done on an annual basis. It is done on an annual basis. Your payment period is done on an annual basis. So how many times your the particular value of n is compounded, or how many times the interest rate is compounded till you make the payment. See, this holds good always when you're making the first payment, your first payment itself. That is where you are calculating your I effective. It is always calculated for your first payment. Then afterwards, the same interest rate is applicable, when you're taking an equal payment series or when you're taking a single payment series. So what will be the value of n in this case? As I said, your n is nothing but number of times it is compounded till you're making the payment. So n is how much here? You're making the payment. I'll show the payment over here. You're making the payment here. You're making the payment here. And you're making it here, 36, so on. So your n is how much? M you got right. M stands for number of compounding periods in a year. N stands for number of compounding periods till you make the payment.
Two, sir.
N is 2. I hope you all have got the same answer. N is 2, right? Anyways, I'll explain that how this 2 has come. Okay. Before that, I'll explain why this is taken as 2. Now, this is for 1 year. You are making the payment. Interest rate is given as 12% compounded semi-annually. It is not 12% compounded annually. It is 12% compounded semi-annually. Semi-annually means it is nothing but R by M. So it is 0.12 divided by 2. That is 6%. Simple. So you get 6% as your effective interest rate for 6 months. Now, since the payment period is given as every year, right? Every 12 months. Now, this interest, right? This interest is applicable only for 6 months, but your payment is done at the end of the first year. So how many times it is compounded till you're making the payment? So it is compounded once, it is compounded twice. So that is why this 2 has come. Any doubts over here? Any doubts over here? So I believe you guys are clear with this then. If there is no doubts, then we'll move on. Okay. So what will be the interest you'll be getting over here? Your effective interest rate.
%12.36%.
1 second. Yeah. Okay. So you get this equal to 12.36%. So that means this interest rate is applicable from here to here because you're making the first payment. So this will be your actual interest rate for the time period of 1 year. Now say you're supposed to calculate something at the end of the 10th year. Okay. So you're supposed to calculate something at the end of the 10th year. So you made the payment, say this payments are in the form of, say 100 rupees or maybe 100 rupees. So your F will be equal to 100 into F by A. Okay, interest rate is given as 12.36, 10. So you can find the future worth at the end of the 10th year by using this formula. So you, instead of you won't get this from the interest factor table, you have to use the formula for this particular case. So I hope you understand. Please use the formula for this case to calculate the above numerical. Don't write 12.36 is equal to 12. If you're going to do that, you will be losing marks. Okay, you will be losing marks. So please don't do that. Go with the exact formula. So I hope you are clear with this, the payment period as well as the compounding period. Okay, so we'll go on to the next problem or the next example, right? I'll take the interest rate to be the same, 12% compounded quarterly. Okay, 12% compounded quarterly, payment period is annually. Now this is for a time period of 1 year. Sorry, I'll take the full this thing then, full horizontal line. This is for 1 year. Right now, your payment period is when? See, let me tell you, this is a very important concept. Usually you see, the interest rates, for the car loans, home loans, what they say is like, interest rate has come down to 7%, it has come to 5% or something like that. Now, the interest rate, what they're charging is for the 1 full year. What the interest rate they're showing is for 1 full year, but for a month it is different. See, that is why the compounding, the beauty of compounding is, if they are collecting the money on a monthly basis, the total amount what they will receive at the end of the month or end of the year or end of the tenure will be a much bigger amount. When it comes to credit card also, right, you convert the payment into EMI, but over there it is actually based on the time period. Actually, it varies. Time period is not fixed as such. It says that 22% for 6 months, 21 point something for 9 months, 21.9% for 12, then 15, 18, like that it goes. Now, people will think that if they opt for 9 months, the total amount what they're going to pay, at the end of the 9th month will be less than what they'll be paying for the 6 months, because 6 months interest rate is 22%, whereas here it is 21%. In reality, you end up paying more. The more the time period you consider, you end up paying more actually. You'll be paying maybe double if you're opting for a longer time period. A shorter time period will always help you, in reducing those interests. Shorter time period will always help you in reducing those interest or the interest accrued. So it is always better to ensure that you pay within a shorter time period. Car loan comes for 3 years, it comes for 5 years, it comes for 7 years. Most people will opt for 7 years actually, because it will be easy for them. But the amount of this thing, what they consider or what they take, right, for 7 years is too much. It is too high. So they need to look into that. What is better? Of course, for 5 years, your amount will be more compared to the amount what you'll be paying for in the 7 years. So in this case, like, see that the reason why I'm trying to make you understand, right? Any problem related to the nominal interest rate, once you go through the problem, write down the data that is there. See, I'm not going to take up the problem till the next class. Like, I want to continue with the same examples. Maybe like I don't have that much of stamina what I used to have. I may wind up at around 9:15. Let me see how it goes. Right. So yeah. I will continue with the similar examples for the whole class, for today's entire class actually, rather than taking up the numerical problems. If you are interested, you can go through the numerical problems which I already shared it in that particular Word document. There are few problems, so it is all left to you. If you are interested, you can start taking it. Now, here the interest rate is given as 12% compounded quarterly. Payment period is annually. Now, what is the payment period? Payment period here is annually. Your compounding period is quarterly. Right? Now again, your payment period actually is greater than your compounding period. You need to make the payment period equal to the compounding period. This criteria has to be met in the case of nominal and effective interest rate. Always your payment period should be equal to the compounding period. So 12% compounded quarterly, right? So in simple words, I'll write it like this: 0.12 quarter in a year. How many quarters are there? There are 1, 2, 3, 4. 0.12 divided by 4, that is 3%. So 3% will be your interest every quarter. So you're making the payment over here. Your first payment period starts at the end of the first year. Now using the formula, I is equal to 1 plus r by m whole to the power n minus 1. So it is 1 plus your r is 0.12 by your m is how much? Compounded quarterly. Okay. Now your n is how much over here? How many number of compounding periods are there, per payment period or till you make the payment?
Four.
Exactly. There are 4 compounding periods till you make the first payment period. So please see here, this is your first compounding period, right? First compounding period. This is second compounding period. This is your third compounding period, and this is your fourth compounding period. Okay, so that is why it is 4. So you'll be able to calculate what will be your I effective interest rate. I effective interest rate. Clear? So if I'm clear with this, if you guys are clear with this, then I'll move on to the third different type in this. Any doubts over here? So any doubts related to the previous, the interest rate calculation? Okay, so I believe that you guys are clear with this particular, the previous calculation of effective interest rate. Now coming to the third type, that is 12% component monthly, payment period is annually. Your payment period again over here is annually. Your component period is monthly. Now again, if you see here, your payment period is actually greater than your compounding period. Okay, but you need to make the payment period equal to the compounding period. You need to make the payment period equal to the compounding period. So in this case, what happens? What would be the interest rate on a monthly basis? What would be the interest rate on a monthly basis? Any idea?
1%.
Yes, it will be 1%. So if you see here, interest rate is given as 12% compounded monthly. This is important. 12% compounded monthly. 12% is for the full year. Compounding is for on a monthly basis. So 0.12 divided by 12. What you get is nothing but 1%. So your R by M is equal to 0.12 by 12, which is 1%. Now I effective. See why I'm showing R by M is your R by M also comes in the formula actually. That is why. So 1 plus your 0.12 divided by 12. Now, what is the value of n? What is the value of n? How many times it is compounded till you're making the first payment?
12.
Yes. Why 12? Because there are 12 compounding periods. Okay. This is your first compounding period. This is your first compounding period, right? This is the second one. This is the third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 11th, 12th. I hope you are able to understand this. I'm making it as clear as possible. Okay, so what you get over here is nothing but I think so, which is 12.68%. This is the interest rate that you will be getting over here. Okay, I don't know. I just remembered this value, but I'm not sure. But I request you to calculate. Don't just write down what I written, right? Only when it comes to the final answers. Rest of the things, please follow. Try to understand, you know, the why I'm drawing this cash flow is I'm getting into detail and trying to make you understand. If you're able to understand this particular thing, solving any type of nominal effective interest rate problem will be easy. It won't be difficult for you. Any sort of problems you can take it up. Just break into small pieces and try to evaluate it. Okay, so I hope you're clear with this. Any doubts related to this? So far we discussed the cases where the M value, the compounding period and the payment period were the same. Where the payment period and the compounding period were the same. Now we'll see where the payment period and the compounding period are different actually. So this is the case where, okay, 12% compounded monthly. I'll take the same. Okay. Now the payment period is on a monthly basis. 12% compounded monthly. Your payment period is on a monthly basis. See, in the question, it will be given that, say, like Ramu would like to, take a car loan. He makes equal monthly installments or he repays the loan on a monthly basis, right? So that is where it is clear that your payment period is on a monthly basis, and the interest rate will be given in the form of either 12% compounded monthly, or it will be like 12% compounded quarterly, or any other thing. You need to make the interest rates, the compounding period and the payment period equal in any ways. So that's why I'll come to that. Okay, but interest rate need not be 12%. It can be 10%. It can be even 9.5% also can be given. 9.5% compounded quarterly, 9.5% compounded semi-annually, right? So don't go by the fixed this thing. It can be given as per the wish of the concerned faculty or concerned coordinator. Okay, so this is a case where your M and N are different. They are not the same. So I request you to please try to solve it and give me the answer. I'll be able to then figure out whether you guys have really understood. Right? You can message me the answers. Only three responses so far. Only three responses. Such a simple numerical, please go through it, like, because the your decimal point, all those things are very important. Okay, writing those decimal points, they're all very, very important. Okay, your payment period is monthly. Compounding period is also monthly. Okay. So see, there are two ways to calculate this particular thing. Either you can go with I effective or R by M also. So 1 plus 0.12, your, since it is 12% component monthly by 12, you're making the first payment when? Your first payment is done at the, see that's why like I didn't draw the cash flow. So I had asked you like, draw the cash flow. Things will be much simpler for you. You're making the payment here. It's on a monthly basis. Your first payment is actually done on a monthly basis. Okay, this goes on. Now, how many times it is compounded till you're making the first payment? N is how much over there? N is how much? How many times?
1.
Yes. How many times it is compounded till you're making the first payment? So it is only one over here. So whole to the power 1 minus 1. So what you get over here is nothing but 1%. This 1% is for that particular time period. Okay, till this is for this time period only, 1%. This is the effective interest rate for this particular time period. The other method is, as I said, R by M. R by M is nothing but 0.12 by 12, which is also 1%. The reason is your payment actually starts from a monthly basis. Your payment actually starts from a monthly basis. So that's why I said it is R by M. Clear? So I won't erase this. I request you to make a note of the important things, right? So what I'll do is I will try to clear up the earlier part, what I given. Should I write all this in a fresh page or fresh sheet, or can I write it here? Of course, it's all recorded. For me, I have to write it every semester. It's not a big deal for me. So 12% compounded monthly. Your payment period is on a quarterly basis. Okay. Your payment period is on a quarterly basis. Now in this case, your compounding period is monthly. Your payment is on a so again your compounding period is actually less than your payment period, or a payment period is actually period is actually greater than your here it is greater than your compounding period. So drawing the cash flow, now your payments are done on a quarterly basis every 3 months. Now your first payment, as I said, your first payment, that is your starting point. Okay. So what will be the interest rate for this? Okay, 12% component monthly. So it is nothing but 1%. This is 1, this is 2. Okay. I already taken M as 12 now. Please, your M is on a monthly basis. Your M is on a monthly basis. Right? N is on a quarterly basis. So what will be the N value of N over here? Yes, some of you have given the right answer. Some of you have given what is the value of N. Yes, you guys are right. But I want to know what about others? What about others? So your value of N is very important. M is nothing but 12 over here. So the interest rate per compounding period or per month is 1%. Now your first payment is made at the end of the first quarter, right? End of the first quarter. Now usually if it is 12% compounded quarterly, we take it as 4. But over here, please see your first payment is done end of the first quarter. So it is given as how many times it is compounded? It is 1, it is 2, it is 3. So whole to the power 3. Right? So you should be getting, I think, so 3.03% or something like that. So some of you have got it, you got the right answer. Now, the second case, 12% compounded monthly payment period is on a semi-annual basis. Again, I request you to, solve it. Since your payment period is done on a semi-annual basis, how many times it is compounded till you're making the payment? 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so you can write down the answer over there. Now, 12% component semi-annually, payment period is done on a quarterly basis. So this is an interesting case. So please write down what is the compounding period, what is the payment period, and whether the compounding period is greater than the payment period or payment period is greater than the compounding period, right? Then you calculate that. Now there is a slight change in this particular thing. Okay, so I'll just come back. Request you to just solve it. Now your I effective. So interest rate is given as 12% compounded semi-annually. So that means the interest rate is 6% for every 6 months. So 1 plus 0.12 divided by 2, right? You get 6% here. Now, your payment period is actually done on a quarterly basis, right? It is done on a quarterly basis. Your interest rate or a compounding period is on a semi-annual basis. This is semi-annual, this is quarter, payment is quarter. So your compounding period is actually greater than your payment period, but you need to make the payment period equal to the compounding period. So how do you do that? So how do you do this? Your N is how much here? Can somebody tell me what is the value of N? N is how much?
$0.5.
Yes, N is half or 0.5, right? Because payment is every quarter, compounding is every semi-annual basis of 6 months. So whole to the power half minus 1. So I don't know, like you have calculated, some of you have got the right answer, I believe. Yes, many of you have got this answer as 2.95%. You are right. Any doubts here? Any doubts? Okay, the next part, 12% compounded. I'll take it as, instead of semi-annually, I'll take it as annually, 12% compounded annually. Your payment period is done on a quarterly basis. So this will be the last type. I won't go further into this. So any combination you can try and you can work out, you can come back to me. But if you're thorough with this, then you can straight away go with the the numericals that is given. You can start practicing on that, if you're really interested. So that choice is left to you, but I will take it up from the next class onwards. So here, if you see, interest rate is given as 12% compounded annually. So it is a yearly compounding. Okay, but your payment period is done on a quarterly basis. So your I effective will be 1 plus R by M O to the power n minus 1. So it is 1 plus your R is 0.12. Compounding period is compounded annually. So there is no change. It is 1. Okay. Now your payment period is done on a quarterly basis. Payment period is done on a quarterly basis. Compounding is yearly. Payment is quarterly. So first payment is received on a quarterly basis. So in a year, how many quarters are there? There are 4 quarters. So how will I take it? What will be the value of n now? What will be the value of n? 4 to the power?
5.
Pardon?
1 by 4.
1 by 4, exactly. 0.25 or 1 by 4 minus 1. You have the answer with you. So I guess this is sufficient, you know. I don't know how many different scenarios I have given, but if you are clear with this, right? Your I effect calculation, once it is clear, then need not worry. You have to just apply it in the formula, start solving. Only thing you need to remember the years. Over there it will be different. Over here it is different actually. That's why I said when it comes to I effective, your first payment is always considered. Your first payment, not the payment of the deposits that are done. Right? It is the first payment. What is put over here is considered. Please follow. Most of the students, what happens is they, go through certain books, or maybe they refer other class notes. They consider there'll be a slight change in the formula. They use K, C by K, M and N, M into K, some multiplication factor you do. Please don't go to that. You'll be confused. Worst scenario or worst case, draw the cash flow, try to identify that, what it is. So that's why I'm showing with the help of the cash flow so that it is very clear and easy to understand. So if you're clear with this, then I think so we will take up the numericals from the next class onwards. So how many of you have got the answer for this? Clear? So shall I stop the class, and next class shall we continue with the the numerical problems. Hello, are you all there? You all able to hear me? Anyways, I'll stop the class right here. So request you to go through those numerical, go through the particular, discussions what we had today in the class. Try to understand, try to figure it out. Any doubts, you can come back to me. Right? Monday we'll take up the numericals, and stay safe, stay inside the campus. Yes, all the best. Thank you.